Welcome to a very special and moving episode of Rainbow Spotlight. Today, we're honoring 5 extraordinary Black gay artists who left us too soon during the AIDS crisis. Their legacies continue to inspire and influence our community, and their stories deserve to be told, remembered, and celebrated. Let's pay tribute to these remarkable individuals who changed the landscape of arts, sports, and activism forever. Alvin Ailey, the revolutionary dance pioneer who changed modern dance forever. The legendary Alvin Ailey wasn't just a dancer and choreographer. He was a revolutionary who forever transformed the landscape of modern dance. Standing tall at 6 feet 0 inches with a presence that could command any room, Ailey possessed a unique ability to translate the Black experience into movement that spoke to audiences worldwide. Born in Rogers, Texas, in 1931, Ailey's journey to becoming a dance legend began in Los Angeles, where he studied under the great Lester Horton. Dance came from the people, and it should always be delivered back to the people, Ailey once said, a philosophy that would define his entire artistic legacy. His vision led to the creation of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater in 1958, a company that broke racial barriers and redefined what modern dance could be. Living in his Manhattan apartment near his beloved dance studio, Ailey created works that would become cornerstones of American dance. His masterpiece, Revelations, inspired by his experiences in the Black church and set to African American spirituals, remains the most seen modern dance work in history. Dance critic Jennifer Dunning described it as not just a portrait of Black American life, but a testament to the human spirit. His impact on dance transcended race and nationality. The legendary Judith Jamison, who would later lead his company, recalled, "Alvin didn't just create dances, he created opportunities. He showed us that our stories, our pain, our joy, were worthy of being on the world's greatest stages." Under his leadership, the company performed in 71 countries, earning the nickname Cultural Ambassador to the World. Beyond choreography, Ailey was a tireless advocate for arts education. His school provided scholarships and opportunities for countless young dancers of color. "Dance is for everybody," he insisted. "I believe that dance came from the people, and that it should always be delivered back to the people." The dance world's biggest names couldn't help but praise his genius. Mikhail Baryshnikov said, "Ailey didn't just change dance, he changed how we see movement itself. He made us understand that dance could tell our deepest stories." His influence extended far beyond the stage, inspiring visual artists, musicians, and even fashion designers. When Ailey passed away from AIDS-related illness in 1989, he left behind not just a dance company, but a revolution in motion. His mother's words at his memorial service still resonate. He used his art to change hearts. Today, the Ailey School continues his legacy, training new generations of dancers and ensuring his vision of inclusive, powerful dance lives on. His impact on American culture was so profound that in 2014, he was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by Barack Obama, who noted, "Alvin Ailey's choreography forever changed the way we look at modern dance, and his vision continues to inspire new generations." While Alvin Ailey revolutionized the world of dance with movements that spoke directly to the soul, our next honoree chose a different art form to tell equally powerful stories. Ladies and gentlemen, grab your tissues and prepare your hearts, because the story of our next legend will move you in ways you never expected. If Ailey painted his truth through dance, this next pioneer carved his legacy through the lens of a camera, creating images and narratives so powerful they still shake us to our core today. Y'all, get ready for a story that's going to break your heart and fuel your spirit all at once. And trust me, what this man accomplished in his too brief time on Earth will leave you asking yourself one question: how had I never heard this story before? Let's dive into the extraordinary life of Marlon Riggs, the warrior poet who transformed his camera into a weapon of mass truth-telling. Marlon Riggs, the fearless filmmaker who spoke truth to power. Marlon Riggs was more than just a filmmaker. He was a warrior poet who wielded his camera like a sword of truth. With his keen intellectual mind and gentle spirit, Riggs created documentaries that forced America to confront its prejudices about race, sexuality, and AIDS. Born in Fort Worth, Texas in 1957, Riggs would go on to become one of Berkeley's most distinguished professors and groundbreaking documentary filmmakers. "We have to tell our own stories," he once declared, "because silence is the real killer." His breakthrough film, Tongues Untied, 1989, revolutionized documentary filmmaking by blending poetry, personal narrative, and raw reality to explore the experiences of gay black men. Living in his Berkeley home filled with books, films, and artwork from black queer artists, Riggs created a space where creativity and activism merged. His workspace became a gathering place for intellectuals, artists, and activists. "Every film I make is a piece of my soul," he told The Advocate in one of his last interviews. "It's not just about documenting, it's about healing." His impact on documentary filmmaking cannot be overstated. The legendary filmmaker Spike Lee praised him. "Marlon didn't just push boundaries, he erased them completely. He showed us that documentary film could be both political and poetic." His work earned him numerous awards, including a Peabody, multiple Emmy nominations, and a Guggenheim Fellowship. Even as he battled AIDS, Riggs continued working on his final masterpiece, Black Is, Black Ain't, 1995, completed posthumously. Through his illness, he incorporated his own story into the film, transforming his personal struggle into a powerful statement about identity, resistance, and survival. "I'm not going to be silent," he said from his hospital bed, "as long as I have breath to speak." Essex Hemphill, his friend and collaborator, wrote, "Marlon didn't just make films. He made mirrors where we could finally see ourselves clearly." His influence on black cinema and LGBTQ+ representation continues to inspire filmmakers today, with directors like Barry Jenkins citing him as a major influence. Willie Ninja, the legendary mother of Vogue. Willie Ninja, known as the Godfather of Voguing, transformed a dance style born in Harlem's ballroom scene into an international phenomenon. Standing 6 feet 1 inch with the grace of a gazelle and the precision of a surgeon, Ninja elevated voguing from underground dance form to high art. Born in 1961 in New York City, Willie Ninja earned his name through his razor-sharp dance moves. "Voguing is more than dance," he once explained. "It's a language spoken through the body." His appearance in the groundbreaking documentary Paris is Burning, 1990, introduced voguing to the world, years before Madonna would make it mainstream. Living in his Manhattan apartment decorated with voguing trophies and fashion magazines, Ninja created what many called the House of Ninja University. Here, he trained upcoming dancers, models, and performers in the art of voguing and runway walking. "Every move tells a story," he would tell his students. "Make sure yours is worth telling." His influence extended far beyond the ballroom scene. Jean-Paul Gaultier called him the greatest runway coach in history, and supermodels like Naomi Campbell sought his guidance. "Willie didn't teach walking, he taught presence," Campbell later recalled. His unique style influenced fashion shows, music videos, and even classical ballet. Even as AIDS took its toll on the ballroom community, Ninja continued to perform and teach. "We dance to celebrate life," he said, "especially in the face of death." His final performances, though physically challenging, showed his undiminished spirit and grace. Glenn Burke, the brave athlete who created the high five. Glenn Burke wasn't just a talented MLB outfielder. He was a pioneer who lived his truth in an era when professional sports remained deeply closeted. Standing 6 feet 0 inches with the speed of lightning and the strength of a warrior, Burke brought joy to baseball in ways that extended far beyond his impressive stats. Born in Oakland, California in 1952, Burke made history as the first MLB player to come out to teammates and team owners during his career. "Being true to myself was more important than playing baseball," he said in his memoir, Out at Home. His infectious smile and charismatic personality made him a beloved figure in the Los Angeles Dodgers clubhouse, where he famously invented the high five with teammate Dusty Baker in 1977. Living in Los Angeles during his Dodgers years, Burke's apartment became known as a safe haven for young LGBTQ+ athletes seeking guidance and support. "The game I love didn't love me back," he often said, "but that wouldn't stop me from loving myself." His courage in living openly, despite the professional consequences, paved the way for future generations of LGBTQ+ athletes. Sports Illustrated journalist Bryant Gumbel later wrote, "Glenn Burke didn't just play baseball, he changed its culture forever." Despite facing discrimination that ultimately cut his promising career short, Burke continued to make an impact through his participation in the gay games, where he won medals in track and field. After his baseball career, Burke became an advocate for AIDS awareness in sports. Even as the disease took its toll, he continued speaking out about homophobia in athletics. "Someone had to be first," he said in his final interview. "I'm proud it was me." His legacy lives on through the Glenn Burke Memorial Game, held annually in San Francisco, and through the countless LGBTQ+ athletes who cite his courage as inspiration. Billy Beane, another openly gay former MLB player, said, "Glenn Burke wasn't just ahead of his time, he was ahead of our time. He paid a price so others wouldn't have to." Essex Hemphill, the poet who gave voice to a generation. Essex Hemphill was more than a poet. He was the voice of Black gay America during the height of the AIDS crisis. With his commanding presence and profound words, Hemphill created poetry that spoke directly to the experiences of Black gay men, when few others dared to do so. Born in Chicago in 1957, Hemphill's words became a rallying cry for activism and awareness. "When my brother fell, I picked up his weapons," he wrote in his acclaimed collection Ceremonies. His poetry addressed everything from desire and love to racism and AIDS with unflinching honesty and lyrical beauty. Working from his Washington, D.C. apartment, surrounded by books and manuscripts, Hemphill created works that would become foundational texts in Black queer literature. "Poetry isn't just about beauty," he once said at a reading. "It's about truth-telling, even when the truth hurts." His impact on literature and activism was profound. Nobel laureate Toni Morrison praised his work. Essex Hemphill didn't just write poems, he wrote testimonies of survival. His collaborations with filmmaker Marlon Riggs in Tongues Untied brought his powerful words to an even wider audience. Throughout his battle with AIDS, Hemphill continued to write and perform, refusing to let the disease silence his voice. His final collection, Brother to Brother, became a touchstone for a generation of Black gay writers. Fellow poet Audre Lorde said, "Essex gave us permission to speak our truths without shame." These 5 extraordinary individuals may have left us too soon, but their legacies continue to inspire and influence our community today. From the dance stage to the baseball diamond, from poetry to film, they broke barriers and paved the way for future generations. Remember to subscribe to Rainbow Spotlight for more tributes to the legends who shaped our community. Their stories deserve to be told, remembered, and celebrated. Let's honor their memories by continuing their work for equality and justice. And never forget, as Essex Hemphill wrote, "What I write is written with my blood." These pioneers gave everything they had to make the world a better place for all of us. May their memories be eternal, and may their stories continue to inspire new generations of LGBTQ+ artists, athletes, and activists.